to read more from him, and we get to hear him now. Anthony Slater with us. How you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing good, fellas. I'm actually driving down to San Francisco. Going to see Wembanyama tonight for the first time.
Wow.
Is he playing tonight, as far as we know?
He's supposed to be.
Okay.
As, like, last I heard, I mean, maybe Popovich will ruin my night in about, 90 minutes, but I think we're going to see him for 20, 25 minutes tonight.
Anthony, we really enjoy your preview. We've been talking about a lot today already. And with so many analysts expecting regression because the Kings, they were healthy last year, regression. Why do you like the Kings' chances to win the division again?
Well, I mean, and as I mentioned in it, and you can look at last year's standings, 48 wins was the top, 43 was the bottom, right? It's this crazy packed division, and nobody even really talks about divisions, like they do in MLB. But these are all 5 contenders. It could go, any way. Why do I like the Kings? I think the way they attack the regular season is a little bit, they're younger, they're fresher. Especially last year, there was just kind of a verve and an energy that you don't normally get in a regular season from teams. I cover the Warriors, as you mentioned, on a regular basis. There are often seasons where you just feel the grind wearing on them. You never felt that last year with the Kings. And, the home crowd, that helps. I think when you get tired teams coming in there in the middle or at the end of West Coast road trips, you can kind of run them out of the building. So I do think people are overly expecting the regression this season. I do think they're going to repeat, somewhat what they did. What does that end win total? I don't know, but I put them atop the division, but I do think it'll be a packed division.
No, I agree 100% with you, Anthony. I think all 5 teams, once again, will be in the playoffs. What do you think is the biggest hindrance, I guess, to Sacramento advancing deep in the playoffs? What would hold them back, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple to just say defense, right? But I think, specific areas of defense, to me, they don't have a stopper, a wing stopper. I mean, I like Davion Mitchell. He did go 4 for 4 from 3 in a flash the other night at a game I was at, that Warriors game. So if he can hit his shots and stay on the floor more, maybe, they do have kind of more of a perimeter ace. But the fact that I just don't think at the highest level, a Steph Curry Game 7 type performance, that they can, turn the water off as easy. And then, on the back end, just lack of rim protection. I love Sabonis. I particularly love Sabonis as a regular season hub of an offense. But come playoff time, you can kind of get to the rim without worry against the Kings. I know they went out and got JaVale McGee, and I do think that's a change of pace, a dynamic that maybe they didn't have last year. But, he's older. He's a 15, 20-minute per night player. I honestly think there's times where he shouldn't play and they should go Trey Lyles at the 5. That's not to say, I think they have no chance, but I still am of the belief of the more top-tier guys, the Steph Currys, the LeBrons, I don't even really want to say Kawhi and Paul George at this point because they just seem like theories. I probably honestly would take the Kings over them, although I don't think I did in the article. But,
I think we lost Anthony Slater there just for a
solve it right now.
Yeah. We lost it for just a second, Anthony. Yeah, you okay?
Okay.
We got you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you guys. But yeah, I mean, the big thing, look, Mike Brown's clearly trying to solve the defense, in a pretty stern way, right away. Maybe if I see something in the first couple months that, maybe if they're ranked 14th, 15th, it's a different conversation.
Anthony Slater from The Athletic with us. I know that you agree with the idea that Keegan Murray is poised for a breakout year. In what areas would you say the Kings really need him to break out the most?
Well, I think he is in line for a breakout offensive season. I think that's become obvious over summer league, preseason, just everything you're hearing about him, really everything you saw. He's going to hit catch and shoot threes at a high, elite clip, 40% and above. He is doing off the dribble stuff more. That's not a secret. They're all talking about it. He's finishing stronger. You saw that dunk the other night against the Warriors in traffic. So I think he's poised to become fringe all-star level offensive contributor. To your question of where they need him to break out more, I would like to see more from him on the defensive end. He's big. He's smart. He's not as laterally quick as your typical wings. I know during Summer League, they kind of talked about a Kawhi Leonard type transformation potentially coming from him. I do see that offensively. I don't see that defensively. He just doesn't have that upside. But if he could become adequate, bothersome, if they could play the Clippers and you feel okay with him guarding Paul George. And I know they tested it last year, But that's where I want to see him, because that's where I'm most skeptical of him, because I'm not skeptical at all offensively. I think we're all starting to see what he's going to become.
Should Kings fans and Mike Brown be worried about Kevin Huerter?
Maybe, didn't have a good playoff series. Obviously, not hitting the shot early in camp preseason. To me, he's streaky, right? There's some shooters across the league that are like steady, consistent, and there's some guys who make in bulk and miss in bulk. I would say Klay Thompson's one that I cover, and he's kind of comparative to Huerter as a shooter, where he's gonna. What did Huerter shoot in the first month last year? First month and a half, like 52% from three.
Yeah, it was
like
crazy. Yes.
Yeah. But then there was also a month where he shot like 31 or, below. So he just might be cold right now. And when he's cold, then suddenly, I think Mike Brown's eyes start to tilt towards like, hey, Chris Duarte can miss those shots, but also play better defense. Davion Mitchell can hit 30-something%, but play better defense. So, yes, in a sense of I could see him, suddenly not have as firm a rotation, firm a starting spot, and maybe that snowballs his season. But also, I think there's going to be a month somewhere, and maybe it's early, maybe it's middle of the season, that Kevin Huerter carries their offense for months at a time, because he's hitting 52% of a high volume of threes, and we all know he's pretty important in their offensive scheme, right? The dribble handoff stuff. I know the Warriors were very intent on shutting that down. So I think what he does as kind of a cutter and a dribble handoff recipient is more key than people realize.
Anthony, you obviously covered Mike Brown for many years when he was an assistant with the Warriors. What do you think he has enjoyed the most? What is he most proud about with this Kings team? And also, how difficult is it for a defensive guy to coach this team that has so much trouble defensively?
Yeah, I think most proud of, I would say, probably how quickly they really bought in. They could have gone one of two ways last year, but I think the way, particularly, his stars, I think the way Fox embraced him early on was huge. And allowed him, and I know you hear, I heard a quote from Kevin Huerter the other day about it, but the fact that he can coach Fox and Sabonis really hard opens up kind of the respect level team-wide, where I think if players see, differing approaches, they start to roll their eyes a bit. So I think he's probably just most proud of the way this team has allowed him to coach, and then, of course, just the record and where they went last season, and the fact that they legitimately pushed the Warriors to the brink and could have won that series. And then the other question was just how, as far as, I remember talking to him last year, and they had the number one offensive rating ever, but, they're sitting there 23rd in defense. And I do think it, kind of grinds them a little bit. You see him on the sidelines. You see those quick timeouts after 30 seconds into a quarter. It frustrates him. And I think he's acting on it right now. He's not coming into the season going, you know what, I'm just the new Mike D'Antoni. We're going to just run people out of the gym. And, for 24th, we're 24th, whatever. He's trying to solve it right now. And that does come at the risk of maybe eroding at their offense a little bit with lineup choices and just, what he's emphasizing. But he is not standing pat just being okay with being the 24th ranked defense and the first ranked offense. I think he would much prefer 4th ranked offense, 13th ranked defense, something like that.
All right, Anthony Slater, thank you. We appreciate your time as always. Enjoy the game tonight. Do you have any idea whether we'll see more Kings coverage in The Athletic if they continue to play as well as they did last year? I know it's not your call, but can you give us a sliver of hope here?
Yes, I think me and Sam Amick, I believe next week we'll have a big story at some point during opening week, just kind of on this moment of the Kings, kind of a deep dive. And over the course of the season, I'm going to drop in. Sam Amick will drop in. We've got a young writer, Hunter Patterson, who will drop in with some articles. So, we're trying. We're trying.
I know. Great stuff. Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.
All right, fellas.
All right, Anthony.
That's good stuff.
No, yeah. and that's a guy that is at the games. He's talking to Mike Brown. He's talking to the players.
Mike a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So we didn't really go to Slater Tration, but it sounded like he kind of split the difference there, didn't he?
No, I don't think he did. He didn't mention your boy Colby Jones at all. I was wondering. I was like, all right, I heard Duarte, I heard Davion, and
probably split decision.
So I think I won that one. Yeah. I won that
round. To be continued. Coming up next year, and this is one I know we're going to disagree on. Will a return to the playoffs for the Kings, would that alone constitute a successful season? We will discuss it like gentlemen do next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.